This is part 2 of a 2-part episode of Live Action Remorse. If you wish to hear the full conversation, please go back and listen to part 1. Thank you and enjoy. Beauty and the Beast, directed by Bill Condon, was released in 2017. It is an affront to God, and it made over $1 billion. The worse these fucking things are, the more money they make.
I think this is the second highest grossing one behind Lion King.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I didn't go see it. Okay.
You didn't go see it. You went to see Furiosa. You didn't see fucking Beauty and the Beast 2017. You saw Fury Road. You know what it's about. You get it.
What else came out in 2017 that I actually did see? Okay, I actually didn't see a lot of things in theaters that year, I guess, but I've seen a lot of things in the year since. Phantom
Why
Thread,
would anyone see... Yes.
Shape of Water, which is going to be very
Shape
relevant.
of Water.
Get Out.
Actually,
Get Out,
I'm pretty sure Phantom Thread is also relevant to some capacity. That movie does follow the spirit of Beauty and the Beast more than 2017 Beauty and the Beast.
Lady Bird. That's a great movie.
Good movie.
We should watch Lady Bird instead.
Do you want to start with the remake?
Okay. I'll preface this by saying, out of everything we've watched, this is the one I took the most notes on. You know, it's
also the one you took the most offense to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that too. But like, I put all my notes on my notes app, but my phone is low battery, so I tried to paste it into like a Discord message, and it was too long for a Discord message, so it had to be 2 messages. First of all, here's my first fucking note. The movie already looks like shit. That was my first thought as soon as the movie starts. The original
looks like ass.
Has this prologue, which tells the origin of the beast through these beautiful stained glass murals, and
they're gorgeous.
You know,
there's some of the most gorgeous stuff in the movie, and it's the very first thing you see.
You know what? It would have been really gorgeous if they built those murals in real life. Oh my god, that would have looked even better than the animated movie. But that would have been cool. We can't do that.
We can't.
So
we can't do it.
Instead, they have a live action recreation of that original origin, and already you're seeing
that fateful night.
Addressing things about the original. Like the prince is worse here.
Yeah, because they're like, oh well, why would he be?
He's a little bit older.
He couldn't have been that bad
than he's supposed to be. People are complaining about like his taxes on people, and like it does feel like that thing, like, oh, it's an unfair punishment for what he did, and it's like, yeah, it is. So what? That's not a plot hole. That's just unfortunate, you know?
That's the nature of a lot of these fucking stories. They are cruel to some capacity.
Oh, and so you got all that fucking bullshit. I think there's a song there and it sucks ass. Oh yeah, there's new music in this one. There's a ton of new music, and for some reason they extend a bunch of the original songs.
They extend them, they add new lyrics, replace some of the old ones.
Now,
add new songs.
I just want to lead into this a little bit. So,
go on.
The credited songwriter on this, obviously we talked about Howard Ashman passed away, right? And
yes.
Credited on songs this Alan Menken, from the original, so Howard Ashman, Alan Menken, and Alan Menken also, after Howard Ashman after he died, he worked with Tim Rice. Tim Rice is very talented. They did The Lion King, Aladdin, The Road to El Dorado, great fucking soundtracks. Was he as talented as Howard Ashman? I'd say probably not. But if you had to get someone else, Tim Rice was fucking great. And so if you're gonna now extend these songs, I'd say you shouldn't. And if you're gonna make new songs, I'd say, well, you also probably still shouldn't without Howard Ashman. But if you said you have to choose someone, Nikki, you have to choose someone to do this, I'd say I'd probably choose Tim Rice.
Yeah, he has experience in this space.
Yes, he's worked with, like, it's also just because he fucking worked with Menken so much. And With all that being said, holy shit, the songs are so terrible. What the fuck happened?
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. And hey, I don't think I mentioned this. You know how the new songs and changes to the old ones are really, really bad?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the worst example of this in these remakes, to be honest.
I know there's a new song in Little Mermaid. Is that what you're referring to?
I'm referring to that one. I'm referring to the new song in Aladdin, which is terrible.
I didn't even know about that one.
Oh yeah, it was written by Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, who famously did Dear Evan Hansen. So, great guys to be replacing terrible. We'll get there one day.
If we survive.
That's the thing, we must survive. I think I said something recently, I don't know if I said it to you. I'm not dying without this podcast finishing. I'm not doing it. Even if, no matter how bad the days get, and no matter how hard sometimes I think it might be just waking up in the morning, I can't go without finishing this godforsaken project that we've started ourselves on.
It's speaking of music, getting into provincial life, that amazing number from the original, and it's Emma Watson singing it. And why don't you? I'll hand the mic over to you to talk about this song and Emma Watson's quote unquote singing.
I will say what I said to you on that night. They got her ass sounding like Hatsune Miku. She is pitch corrected to within an inch of her fucking life. She sounds like a goddamn Star Wars droid. It's horrific. And I don't know what happened. That's the thing. I can't say with any certainty that I know what happened, because I don't know what production was like. I don't know how much preparation time she had, because these things can be really quick turnarounds. I think they wanted someone else, but she wasn't able to do it. Like be in the movie. I can't remember who it was.
Aquafina.
I will destroy you. You can't just keep... This is gonna be a thing now? You're just gonna be like Aquafina all the time now? Okay, no, there wasn't any other casting on hand.
Maybe you're thinking of the Del Toro version.
Apparently, she was supposed to be in the Del Toro version.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it was supposed to be someone else, and it was supposed to be her, then it didn't happen.
Yeah, I wish it did happen.
Yeah.
But also, we got Shape of Water, so...
Yeah, that's basically all I would have wanted out of it. It's fine.
I think he said everything that he wanted to say about monstrousness and beast love.
Anyways, Emma Watson doesn't sing in this, because it's so auto-tuned. It's mostly, whatever a computer...
It's mostly pitch-corrected.
And...
It's dreadful.
That was kind of the state of things in 2017. Much
Are we taking a Wicked side note?
Yeah, Wicked side. Much has been said about the Wicked duology. If it has one impact on the industry, I really hope it's that they see that it's very valuable to cast people who can actually sing in musicals.
Because you can't cheat your way around it where it concerns Wicked. These songs are famously, I am not personally a big Idina Menzel head, but I recognize that her contribution in the state of, in the space of Broadway and musical theater is kind of a mammoth thing. Mm-hmm. And the only way to get through that is for the performer to be able to sing and sing very well. They have two performers with very strong, very proficient voices who can sing very well. It's crazy to think that even as far back as 2017, they thought, like major studios thought that your leads being able to sing in a musical was optional.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. That's just embarrassing. The way many things in this movie are embarrassing.
It is a very embarrassing movie.
Which, again, made $1.2 billion!
What else do I have written down about this number? It fucking goes on too long, because, the original was perfectly fine, and you're stretching it for no reason. I don't understand the purpose of the extensions. It would have been easier to not do them.
Another thing that I noted when we watched the movie is that something that is really impressive about the original number is that the village feels very lived in. It feels very much like everyone is sort of going about their business. The space feels alive. It feels like a place that she actually lives in. It indicates the weight of what it is she is about to lose when she is taken into the Beast's castle. That's what that is. And guess what? That doesn't feel like that at all here. Now, this isn't, I believe the production design was Sarah Greenwood. And I would never mean to disparage, because I've seen her work and she's talented, but the way in which these scenes were constructed and lit, it looks like Disney World.
Yeah.
It is very devoid of a sense of like things like this make you realize how difficult it is to make a space feel lived in. When I'm disparaging a movie, I want to come at it with at least the weight of understanding the trial, I guess, of what it is to put your heart and soul into something that is bad. I don't want to make it like someone just pushed a button to do this. But you know that if Disney could, as a company, they would have a button pushed. Which is, because we know this. Because Bob Iger has stated that he wants to implement generative AI into like every aspect of Disney as a thing right now. So, of course. Also, I just want to note something that I'm not sure you caught about ancillary stuff. Did you know this movie was nominated for Best Production Design and Costume Design?
No, I did not.
At the Oscars?
But, it's a studio period piece, so fucking, yeah.
But it looks bad.
I know it looks bad. I know that. You know that. The Academy doesn't know that.
Her dress. I should withhold that until we get there, shouldn't I?
Hold on to that. I still have more things to say about this number, so hold that.
Yes, please do.
You look at the original, and, Belle takes the lead, but then there's, these sides of all the villagers saying, like, oh, Belle, what a strange girl she is. And, like, in the original, they wait till she's out of earshot to say that. In the fucking remake, they're just screaming it right in her ear. And you're trying to tell us that the relationship is, the village is too polite to say this to her face. But you lose that in the remake. Just how the scene moves in that, specific aspect. And it's the blocking and the choreography is better in the animated version, where it isn't, like real blocking or choreography.
Mm-hmm.
It's, oh my god, it's almost impressive how butchered everything is in this movie.
Yeah, don't forget that when she gets home to her dad, she's like, "Do I seem odd? I feel like the people in the village think I'm odd," and it's like, you don't say. You don't
Belle
fucking
should
say,
be smart
Belle.
enough to tell that people think she's odd. She shouldn't have to ask. What's even the point of her asking?
Part of the whole point with her is that she knows kind of where she stands and just kind of accepts it because she has like esteem.
Mm-hmm. Even fucking, I have a little theory that the reason you get all these, additions and, the song extensions is just so that this doesn't feel like a one-to-one remake. So they can say, oh, it is different. There is a reason for it to exist. And it's like, kind of goes back to that thing I said 2 hours ago. That original is a perfect movie. So adding things onto it isn't going to work. If you want to change it, change it. If you really want to be different, change it. Don't just staple things onto it.
Especially, and then they finally learned that you don't even have to change anything, and people will show up anyways.
Yep. You don't have to change
unless your lead is black, then they won't show up.
No, but Emma Watson is a white girl, so $1.2 billion.
How much of that $1.2 billion is fucking Harry Potter stands? I'll kill, and then I'll do it again.
A decent amount. But Rowling's transphobia wasn't widely known yet. It was known by some people, but it wasn't widely known.
Yeah, she hadn't gone full.
I knew about it way before it was fucking
mask
mainstream,
off.
where she was liking things that were blatantly transphobic. But she wasn't tweeting things
Yes.
that were blatantly transphobic.
Or just overall fascist.
Yeah,
I mean,
that too.
obviously the goblins, but that's an aside. I don't know. I can't imagine another time where we'll mention J.K. Rowling. But whether we do or don't, I just want to add the aside of fuck J.K. Rowling.
Fuck J.K. Rowling. Fuck Ronald Reagan. Fuck Bob Iger. Fuck Bumbler Interactive. And fuck Bill Condon. Speaking of unnecessary additions, do you care at all about Belle's mom?
Never even crossed my mind.
When you watch the original, you thought, oh my god, but what happened to her mom?
Never thought about it, not once. It's not a thing that ever crossed my mind.
But
Because
what
it
if
was
her
fundamentally
mom
irrelevant to the movie.
was also a quirked up white girl first, and then she died? Is that anything? Is that
It's not. And it never will be.
Stop trying to make Belle's mom a thing. It's not going to be a thing. Stop trying
That's
to make
how all these changes feel. That's how all these changes feel. Stop trying to make a thing happen.
Stop trying
but
to
then
make
it
Fetch
happens.
happen the movie. I want to talk about I'm just going based on what's in my notes. You want to talk about Gaston and eventually LeFou?
Sure, yeah.
Gaston in this movie, I've got a lot of problems with this guy. The performance is fine. I do know that Idris Elba personally wanted this part, and he didn't get it. And that would have been so much fucking better. Holy shit. He would have been able to inject it with the right amount of, like, self-assured assholery and,
braggadocio.
Braggadocio. He's fucking big enough to be Gaston. Jesus. And
big guy.
When I first heard that, I thought,
Luke Evans looks puny.
That's okay, but he would have been kind of old for Gaston at the time, wouldn't he? But then I thought, oh my god, him being older would be an addition that actually expands the character, that makes his love for Belle, well, not really love, but attempt to woo her, so much more creepy than it already is, and it would make you hate him even more. But no, didn't go to Idris Elba. Went to this fucking white
Luke
bread
Evans.
boy, Luke Evans, who was in The Hobbit.
Didn't even know that. I've never read I've never seen The Hobbit. I'm in the middle of reading it.
His wig looks fucked up, and that's coming from me who can't tell when wigs are bad at all. But I feel like his wig in this is kind of bad.
Oh my god, you too?
Yeah,
I didn't. And my mom's always like, "Is that a wig?" When she's watching certain movies.
I am completely blind to it. I'll see
we're
people
wig blind, yay!
Post, like, oh my god, can you believe this? How bad this wig was in this movie? It'll be like, that was a wig. What?
No, that's me though. I get it. I didn't even know.
Mila Jovovich didn't actually have red hair in The Fifth Element. That was a wig.
What? Really?
I'm pretty sure.
God damn it! I didn't know. See, there it is again. Wig blindness.
I'm wig blind, but I noticed Gaston's wig, so that should tell you something. If you weren't wig blind, I'd imagine
terrible.
It would look even worse. Yeah.
I just want to note as an aside, because we did mention Wicked earlier, that's a good fucking wig.
That's a great wig. Oh my god.
That's a beautiful
wig.
I do think they should let
Cynthia Erivo be bald in a movie, but it is a pretty good fucking wig.
Well, I do have news for you. She is bald in one of these Disney live
I know
action
she's
remakes.
bald in Pinocchio for 2 minutes. Don't remind me that she was in that movie.
Okay. But as an aside, because I don't know if we're gonna praise any part of that movie, her cover of When You Wish Upon a Star is actually very good because she's a very beautiful singer.
Yeah, because she's an actual singer cast in the fucking role. Wow, would you look at that? When you cast a fucking singer, they do a good job. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Holy shit. I don't know how Pinocchio fucking knew what was going on when the fucking stars and sparkles were shining off her shiny-ass head. I'm not excited for that movie, I'll tell you that right now. But...
Well, we're gonna have... wait, I think I've told you we're gonna... the hope is to have a certain guest on that, right? I've
forgotten about that, but okay.
Yes. someone that we've both watched a bad movie with is going to be on that episode.
All right. I might. I
Um,
feel like when I get to that
mhm.
episode, even if we don't like do it all together, I'm gonna end up watching the Del Toro Pinocchio from the same year just to wash my eyes out.
Okay, but what if you watched it as a point of comparison?
I would also put it as a bit of a point of comparison. I don't want to do it too much because the Del Toro version takes a lot of liberties,
Oh, so many. So many.
which is fine. I gotta be actually good.
Yeah, just come to the table with ideas. That's all I ask.
Anyways, Gaston. Circle back.
Gaston.
I also think he's
Gaston.
too nice in this movie.
He's not mean enough.
Yeah.
He's not boorish enough. He's not braggadocious enough.
Mhm.
He's not anything enough, really. He's just kind of a generic guy.
It's
who's just a little.
I
Yeah.
talked about like he speaks like politely, like he's asking for rude things and kind of maybe backhanded compliments sometimes, but he's like talking politely. But in the original,
Which could.
you get the sense like, oh, I can say whatever I want because I'm untouchable. That's his character. Here he's like careful. He cares about what people think of him. In the original, it's like
yeah.
he's already self-assured. People are gonna like him no matter what because he's Gaston.
Now, see, this leans back into the recharacterization of the village, because the village is now, they're all awful and boorish and stupid and hate Belle so much, right? Which makes his sense of politesse feel more out of place. Wouldn't it make sense if they were all still very polite enough to, like, put on airs, and then for Gaston to be similar in that regard?
Yeah.
Look, I'm one of you, I'm polite. Wouldn't that be relevant or pertinent in some way to ideas of what does and does not constitute, quote, beastly behavior? But no, everybody's a boorish asshole except for Gaston now, which is insane.
He's
That
basically
doesn't-
a fucking gentleman,
He's a gentleman with nefarious intentions. And it's
Maybe-
like, well, I know that.
Maybe the
Mhm.
point is like to contrast the beast in that this guy looks nice on the outside, but he's actually rotten inside. But like,
But they don't
That's
lean
less-
far enough into that politesse.
yeah. First of all, they don't like do anything with that dynamic, if that is even what the point is. Second of all, he's just a less interesting character now. The benefit you get from Gaston being so fun in the original way outweighs whatever thematic thing you could do with that.
This is a thing. I think I've kind of made it sound a little bit like I sometimes care about thematics more than, like, tonality sometimes. And I want to make it clear, if you see a tonal opportunity that doesn't wreck your fucking ship, and you don't take it out of fear that it may compromise the thematics, then, I feel like you've kind of chosen a path that is often less creatively fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's okay to forego one thematic element in favor of, expanding characterization and making it more vivid. There are a few people that can get away with, just kind of making characters kind of fully thematic pieces in the tradition, like in the fabulistic tradition. But Bill Condon's not one of them, let me tell you, at least not in this specific movie, because I haven't seen Gods and Monsters yet. I don't know. Maybe he's good. I don't know. But this movie doesn't indicate that.
I have seen one movie from him.
What's that?
It was The Good Liar with Helen Mirren and Ian
Good
McKellen.
Liar.
And it was
How was it?
mediocre. It had a twist that was kind of dumb. That
I
was just
see.
kind of be like, ooh, look, what a shocking twist. That isn't really set up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen his fucking Twilight movies or Dreamgirls.
I have. I've seen his Twilight movies.
He wrote The Greatest Showman, which isn't a good sign.
To be fair, that movie went through a lot of people. You know how Writers Guild rules and just general guild rules tend to be in terms of accreditation.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case.
There's not,
Going
not
back
great
to-
evidence.
Gaston. Speaking of Gaston. Let's talk about
Gaston.
LeFou.
He can't even eat all those eggs anymore. He's not the size of a barge.
He isn't the size of a barge. Why didn't they get a guy who's the size of a barge? Find an Andre the
Gotta
Giant
get a
type.
big man. If at least if you're not gonna get a larger guy, get a guy who feels large. I think you said something when we watched the first one that if they'd made a Beauty and the Beast adaptation in like the 90s, Bruce Campbell would have been like a 10 out of 10 Gaston.
Yeah, he's got the chin. This fucking Luke Evans.
He's got the chin.
Come on.
He doesn't have the chin, and you gotta get a guy that feels big.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are we doing here? Genuinely, I don't know what we're doing here if Gaston's not big, in every sense. But yeah, LeFou. What did you have to say about LeFou? I want to hear you get in there.
Hate Disney so much. You know, let's cut to the fucking bullshit. I don't care about Josh Gad's performance, the fucking writing of LeFou. Let's cut to the fucking first openly gay Disney character. That's what they ran with in 2017.
Yep.
That he would be the first
universe.
Openly gay Disney character. And he would have one exclusively gay moment. And that is at the end of the movie, he dances with a man for 5 seconds.
And it should be noted that man was like dressed in drag, not like 10 minutes prior, because the wardrobe attacked him with clothes.
Yeah,
I don't really
cares. Yeah, it's
no. I want to know it because
it's such a stretch. You know, they don't kiss or anything. They just kind of dance for a second.
You want to know what Beauty and the Beast movie that came out in 2017 did have explicit queerness that is integral to the narrative and emotionality of the piece? The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. Yep. You know, I appreciate about that movie a lot. That it is a pretty clear queer allegory, but they're like, no, just so it isn't confused. Also, her roommate is explicitly gay and likes men.
Yeah. And then he's like, I think about the line, sometimes I think I was born either too late or too early for my life. And it's just like, if that ain't a fucking mood, if that ain't a fucking feeling.
Ain't Del Toro, Jesus.
That's from Del Toro. And it's just like, he's never expressed any
be
kind of
in
queerness.
Classic Hollywood or with the robots and the aliens. He doesn't want to be in there now.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I know that Del Toro, like as far as I've ever been aware, Del Toro isn't really like queer, but like he really expressed a real raw feeling in that, and he does more in that one line than anything LeFou says or does in the entirety of that fucking movie.
Like I going in, I thought it would be like, oh, they'll play up like how much he likes Gaston, right? And it's like,
yeah.
Yes, like not really though. He kind of likes him the same amount he likes him in the original.
I'll put it like this. I think all the gay, and I know that putting aside your actual feelings on the performance, I think all of the gay is being put in by Josh Gad here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in like a positive or a negative way. I'm just saying that it's not really in the text. I'm saying that it's him installing the gay into LeFou, who is basically the same as he already was.
Remember Howard Ashman?
Yeah.
He died. It's fucking it's like they fucking said in the Matrix Resurrections. They took a story that meant so much to so many people and they turned it into product for the masses.
Yeah, because like this, just to get genuinely serious, because like I think about this all the fucking time, and it will come up again when we do Little Mermaid, because of not just because of Howard Ashman, because of Hans Christian Andersen. These are works about yearning in a lot of ways. They're works about living in a world that threatens to steal every second of time that you have left because you weren't born right or because you don't behave right. These are works where queerness is thoroughly, firmly threaded into every inch of its fabric. And here you are with your fucking Disney's first gay character. And it is, honestly, on its own, I think it would be homophobic. But in the context of Howard Ashman and how this was the last thing he truly got to work on all the way through, at the end, in the credits to the 1991 film, there's a message that says to Howard Ashman,
I believe it's who gave a mermaid her voice and a beast his soul.
Yes. And I remember the first time I saw this movie, and I wasn't a kid, I want to be clear, or like I wasn't a little kid, but I remember seeing those words and just feeling like this man was failed like so many queer people. You know, this man was failed. And, you know, he had more to give. And then he was just left to waste away. You know, and they build their house, right? Like because the Disney Renaissance saved Disney. They were not in a good position. The Disney Renaissance saved them. And he is integral to that Renaissance. He is integral, fundamentally. And without him, among so many other contributions, like him and Andreas Deja, who, as we noted, is also gay, without the contributions of queer artists, I don't know if Disney would still be, at least in the place that they're in right now, even if they, you know, I don't want to over attribute these things to individuals, but they played a major part in the continued presence of the work that they are still profiting off of to this day. They are still profiting off of the iconography and the songs and the music that were, you know, created by such longing and yearning that came from an honest place. And Howard, and I know, you know, when, like, I learned with regards to Howard Ashman that they didn't treat him badly at Disney. You know, they were just like, we just see you as Howard. You know, I know that on an individual basis, with regards to the people that he was collaborating with and working with, they were kind to him. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to know that. But that doesn't change the fact that everything that he made is just another brick in a giant wall made of just this incredibly anonymous rehashing. It's old. You know, they built their house on this work, and then they fucking dare to do what they've done here. It would be offensive enough on its own, I think, because it's so whatever. It's so nothing, right? And I would be irked enough. But knowing that this is the legacy of Howard Ashman, knowing what was lost, it just feels like a mockery. It really, truly does feel like a mockery. And I can't stand it. It makes me angry, actually. That's how I feel about that.
They profited so much off of queerness indirectly. And when it became, you know, in fashion, what they considered would be profitable in 2017, then suddenly they wanted to take advantage of it, but they didn't actually give a
do
fuck.
anything.
You know, it's for
even
the press.
Though they could,
you know, that's the heart of it. It's just for the press. It's not for the movie. It's not really in the movie in any meaningful way. It's for the press. And
then before you know,
it's fucking.
And then before you know it, we're in another administration, and Disney says, "I don't want to play with you anymore."
Yeah.
And we, you know, and I know that, you know, there is such a thing, for those not to know, there's such a thing as rainbow capitalism, which is, it's wearing a mask of Pride Month, basically, to appeal to queer people to get their money. But then, all of a sudden, our money didn't matter in the face of the people who were now running the country, And then before you know it, we're way out from that, and The Little Mermaid comes out, and it's just shorn of all of that. Not that I want to see Disney's first gay character in Little Mermaid happen, because oh my god, I can't do it anymore. But again, you built your house on this work, and suddenly it didn't matter at all.
Yeah. They would never, ever have considered, doing a version of this where, like, Belle is a boy or the Beast is a woman. It's because that would actually, what if people get weirded out by this? So it's like, oh, here, gays, here's your little fucking, table scraps. That's good enough for you, right?
You know what? No, all right. I do want to say it outright. Like, not just table scraps. It's just like, and this isn't. I want to separate this from Josh Gad because like he showed up, he did the thing, and I'm not. I'm just talking about LeFou as a non-character that he is. They really just were like, here you go, faggots, about this fucking guy,
Yeah.
Just this fucking he's not really anything more than he was to begin with. He's just a fucking sycophant. And yeah, they give him kind of a last second redemption thing that isn't
Honestly,
anything.
fucking redeeming him is more fucking offensive. What, he has to be a good guy now because he's gay? Gay people can't be evil?
Gay people can't.
He has to fit into the archetype of, like, the gay best friend kind of guy, Let him fucking experience his downfall with Gaston. Why the hell not? To think that's homophobic is insulting. To have him still be a villain.
I learned that, this is something. I learned that one idea that was broached for the ending of this movie was that he gets cursed by the Enchantress after the curse is lifted from Beast. And I'm like, Which is, that's just John Cocteau again, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
But, I do like the idea of, him sticking by him. And now LeFou is the only person who still cares about him now that he is a beast. That's something. I'm not saying it's amazing, but, like, it's an idea, now that, like, it's a thing. It's just a lot. It's a whole movie based on not having ideas. And we should move into the surrounding movie when she's in the castle.
Yeah,
because, oh my god.
I think I still have fucking shit to talk about her in the town.
Okay, no, go on, please.
We're moving at a snail's pace, but like I said,
it's okay.
Fucking notes here.
Yes, please.
So,
your notes.
You know what we all were thinking during the original movie? Belle just isn't smart enough. She isn't portrayed as, a smart, independent girl boss. I know they say she's smart, and she reads books when most of the male villagers can't. But she's just not smart enough. And her dad invents something, kind of sexist, don't you think? We need Belle to invent something. We need Belle to make an invention. So I, a male writer, am going to sit down and rack my brain. Oh, what kind of invention would a woman make? I know. She invents the laundry machine. Powered by a donkey.
God. It's terrible.
And that, that's another example that we need another place to show that the villagers are assholes to her. The thing I talked about with the fucking amazing efficiency of provincial life as a song. Who cares about that? Let's just, go as slowly as possible. Let's just hammer home that fucking point that the village are assholes and sexist, and I don't want you teaching my daughter to read, Belle. You're gonna be a spinster.
Don't you? Was this what the fuck was it he said?
A woman reading, or teaching a woman to read isn't one enough, I think he said.
Isn't one enough?
Oh,
come on. It's interesting because, hey, guess what movie indicated the proliferation of misogyny within a regressive society that happens to be a Beauty and the Beast adaptation in 2017? The Shape of Water. I'll keep saying it.
It's just another thing of like, the original already does this, and it does it
The
fine,
original already
you know?
does this.
Fucking Gaston picks the book out of her hand, and he's like, "Why are you reading a book? This doesn't even have any pictures in it, fucking idiot." And God,
It's
that
great how you
movie's
can
such
get
a
away
fun
with.
character in the original.
He's so fun. He's so fun. He's so stupid. I love him. He's terrible.
But no, we
He's
need
genuinely.
to just this new film was made for the lowest common denominator. So even just something that's not even fucking. I want to say like. I was about to say like something that has like a little bit of subtlety, but that doesn't have any little bit of subtlety. That's not subtle, That's just telling you
It's
that he's sexist. That's
but
it's unsubtle as you could get, but it's still too subtle for this fucking movie.
one thing I like about his portrayal is that as malicious as he is, he's also too stupid to know about some of the effects of his behavior.
Yeah.
Like when he asks her, "Why are you reading?" he means that question very genuinely. He genuinely does not understand why a woman would want to read, because sometimes you learn or have behaviors and they're not even inherently malicious, even if they're incredibly damaging.
Yeah.
It's not like a big thing about like socialization or anything, because it's not that kind of movie, but he genuinely is unaware a lot of the time because he's so stupid.
Yeah.
He thinks himself, I don't know, I think he thinks himself a good man. I know
Yeah.
it's a a truism about fiction, like a really obvious one, that every villain is the hero of their own story. You don't have to write every villain like that, but Gaston is, because that's part of his presence in the movie, that in any other movie he would be the hero.
They sing a song
He
about
looks
how
like the hero.
great he is.
He's designed like a hero. He's designed like a lot of heroes are in a lot of, like, when you look at, like, he kind of reminds me of, like, the bodice ripper guys, like Fabio, like on the covers of the romance books. Like, he reminds me of that fucking guy.
Yeah, it takes that, classic Disney playbook, and it kind of, subverts it, because the Beast is the true hero, even though he looks like a monster. Yeah. And this guy,
and it's like,
who looks like an action hero, is actually the villain.
And it feels so obvious when you say it, but apparently fucking not.
No, apparently not.
Apparently not. Like, I know this because I know how that works, and you know how that works, and generally I feel like anyone listening is gonna know how that works, but apparently most people fucking don't. He functions great in that movie. He does every single thing he needs to do. He is awful and covetous and spiteful and funny and stupid. Gaston's number. Should we get into that? Or is there more you wanted to say?
That's a little bit later, after the castle.
Okay.
I did want to bring up one other thing before we get to the castle, which is, remember when Emma Watson does the Sound of Music?
What, on the hill?
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. First of all, I mean, the iconography you're pulling from. Like, she runs up the beautiful green hill to, the circling shot of all the other hills. I shouldn't say beautiful green hill. Yes. It's a beautiful green hill in The Sound of Music. Here it is it's all mound. CG. And it's like, you couldn't get like a grassy hill to look real in CG. They were doing that on the PS2, buddy. What was happening here? It's partially like the fucking lighting, but like the shot looks so terrible and so fake. And like I said, it's pulling that iconography from Sound of Music, which is unmistakable, especially since it's in a musical number where she's coming up and going to like the high point of the song, and it's like, I don't know what the point is. It doesn't have anything to do with The Sound of Music, thematically or literally or musically or anything.
Imagine if the Great Wide Somewhere looked like shit.
Yeah. Ah. And then Kevin Kline,
Anyways,
her dad, goes to the fucking castle.
side note, Kevin Kline is pretty good in this.
Kevin
That's all I
Kline's
want to
pretty
say.
good in everything. He's fun.
He's a goddamn professional.
I do think
You
I actually
gotta.
disagree with you. I don't like him in this.
I do like him in this. I like his. I don't hate, and this is something that like Lindsay Ellis mentioned in her video, that she didn't hate the fact that he was sort of less bumbling and more of just a really absent-minded guy who,
Yeah.
like he was like you kind of call into question a little bit how good of a dad this guy has been to her. It's fine because she's fine, but like I didn't call that into question as much. I don't know. I understand not really caring for it though, because it's I'm picking up piddles here. I'm picking up crumbs. I got nothing.
Yeah. So, anyways, he goes to the castle, and I don't need to tell you. I mean, it looks worse. The lighting isn't as dramatic. Everything's CG, but that is not even the half of it, because then you meet the residents of the castle, the little object people.
Yes,
Oh my god.
guys. Here we go.
Cogsworth, I never particularly cared for you, but you didn't deserve this. No one deserves that. I mentioned that with the original, and I wasn't even thinking of circling back to it. I'm glad I mentioned it now. That the character designs are so amazing, and that they look so natural.
They look, yeah.
Here,
they
I mean,
emote.
first of all, they shoot themselves
Mhm.
in the foot by being live action in the first place, so it's obviously going to look less natural. They just look like fucking shit.
I think like part of it is like and I'm not a designer. I've talked about this but I value design a lot, just in general, just character design, and the thing about it is a couple things. First off, the obvious one is readability of expression,
Mm-hmm.
and this is unreadable. Just putting it out front, every expression that the characters make is unreadable because their faces are fucked and tiny.
Yeah. Even the one whose face isn't tiny, Cogsworth, you can't read anything off of his fucking clock hands.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor is the candlestick. His face is tiny. Mrs. Potts, her face is drawn on now instead of
Yeah,
it
like
being
painted
part
onto the
of
ceramic
thing. Looks
Yeah.
terrible, by the way.
Yes.
You can't read it because it's too simplistic of a design.
Yeah, it's not. There's not enough. There's the readability, and then we finally hit it. We've hit the point that we've talked about. Like, I know we talked about it with Jungle Book, but now it's really, really happening. We're in it now. The absolutely dogmatic approach to a realism that it does not reward the work at all. A realism that is not helping. It's not doing anything. It's just fidelity for fidelity's sake, so that you can have the excuse of saying it's a live action movie, and live action movie everything needs to look live action, even if it isn't. These guys look like ass. They're unreadable. You've lost their expression, not just their their facial expression, but now they can't move. They don't have their body language anymore because they're physical, like they're objects that are stiff, and they don't have arms, and they don't have legs, and they can't fucking move in any way. It's like asking someone to act, but you've wrapped their face and body entirely in bandages and then a straitjacket. There's no feasible way. There's no way to animate that in a way that is readable. So they just don't even try, I guess. It's genuinely so fucking bad. I don't know. I'm not... You could do more. I'm gonna be real, like on the design front. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was one of those situations where they had stronger concept designs and they kept getting notes. I always
Yeah.
assume that. I always assume that because that's the way these things go. The test audiences want it more realistic. Test audiences are stupid, by the way.
Kill
I don't
all
think we've
test
gotten into that.
audiences.
We haven't gotten into test audiences. It's like, look, this is a general rule that I believe test audiences are good in the sense that they're kind of like an on-off barometer, you know? Is the scene working or not? That's the binary. Is the tone functioning properly? Are people laughing at the right moments? Are people, upset at the right moments, Because you know that when you're doing a test screening and people are laughing at an upsetting scene, that's how you know, okay, I failed. I fucked up somewhere. Or something happened that it didn't function right. These are the parameters under which test audiences function. When you start asking them any more specific questions than that, you are fucked. I don't know.
Maybe blaming test audiences in this specific isn't, entirely the right thing. Like,
No,
I've seen
yeah.
people like David F. Sandberg talk about, people exaggerate test audiences. 99% of the time, it's just going to affect the final edit, not any kind of reshoots. But with Disney specifically, they do focus group all this shit, It doesn't just go to the screen, before they even start shooting. It's probably been in a fucking focus group. And this focus group said, I want it to look more realistic, like the Jungle Book. I thought that was very impressive. And,
it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
You can't read the emotion, because it's not there anymore. Poor fucking Ewan McGregor putting his entire back into that performance because there's no other way to read the goddamn read the emotionality, because there isn't any other than his voice.
You want to talk about the Beast? This is where he comes in.
Just the scene, like the construction of the scene, or Beast as a whole?
Beast as a whole. If you want to talk about the construction of the scene, you can. I don't really have anything to say.
No, I don't have anything to say either. I think it's okay. It's fine. It does the thing it's supposed to do. Okay.
I like that he steals the flower. I think that's fine enough change. So the Beast can say, your father is a thief, and he actually has something to say. But,
yes, that's good.
Actually,
which is
being a bit more of an asshole in the original. That's also kind of, you could argue that's better, but
Okay, but like I will say that him taking the flowers again from I'm pretty sure it's a thing folded from the fairy tale, so we can barely give them that credit.
Yay, you did it! You did it!
Yay! Beast is credited as being designed by Dave and Lou Elsey, who are they do prosthetic effects makeup. They've done they did the design for Beast in X-Men First Class. They did a werewolf movie with David Hayter. I'm not sure if I mentioned that.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he directed that movie and he worked with them on that. I think they're good. Like they have a type of creature that they make, right? And on paper immediately you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because they're capable of creating creatures that maintain a lot of appeal in their facial expressions. The kinds of designs that can be sort of further animated in post-production and still not lose the integrity of the design. They're good at what they do. I wouldn't say their work is like the stuff that resonates with me most. But if you say Dave and Lou Elsey Beast design, that makes sense to me if I just hear it, right? But something happens in the process of making the movie. I don't know what happened, but the way I put it when we watched the movie is he's too attractive to be enough of a beast, and he's not beastly enough to, like, he's not beastly enough and he's not human enough, I guess.
I was just going to say that he's not sexy enough, but he's more articulate.
He isn't sexy enough. He really I think he's gotta have something. Come on. And he's I truly believe that because like I love monsters for the rest of my life. I will die loving monsters. Just on a fundamental conceptual and design level. I'm not talking about like monster fucking. But I will, so it means a lot to me that a monster design, it means a lot. Like it reminds, I think I've said this to you before. I think we've gone on about it, and I'll say it again. It reminds me of something that the Corridor Digital guy said years ago, where they said, an action scene is still a scene. It has to be constructed as a scene. It needs to have the rising and the falling action, or it or at least built on some fundamental driving conflict. And I feel that way very similarly about monsters, where monsters are still characters. They still need to express, some form of characterization, or serve as an extension of other things, like an externalization of other things that exist within the narrative. So when you look at, Glenn Keane's Beast, when you look at Beast in the 1991 movie, that is a perfect design, if you ask me.
Yes.
He is ferocious. He is ferocious, and he should be, because that's the nature of his character. But at the same time, he's also just a lost young man. He is just as afraid as anyone else is. He's as afraid as Belle is. He just doesn't show it because he expresses it in ways that aren't particularly articulate, because he didn't learn how to do those things. And that's what the movie is about, him learning to express those things. And when you look at his design, it does a lot of things. He is a chimera of like a few different animals, kind of boar, bear, wolf thing. He's just a lot of different elements. And you really get to pronounce all of those design elements when you're drawing the character, You get to you get to emphasize the horns, and his jaw shape gets to be a little more exaggerated, and you can take him further and further away from the space of man, but fundamentally in his like visage, his fundamental expressions, he still maintains the fact that he is a man. And you see it in his expressions, you see it in every look of doubt, every double take, every questioning of how he's comported himself in his life, how he's put himself together in front of people, and making him question all of those things. And you can see all that questioning incredibly clearly and densely. It's incredible. It's just a genuine, for me, a major feat of character animation. It's the kind of thing I would reference to people in making a movie of making a Beauty and the Beast adaptation. Just think about what he, it's in the micro expressions. It's like, and it's something, it's the Guillermo del Toro thing of cinema is made of looks. When he works with any given actor, he's working with Doug Jones, when he's doing, Pan's Labyrinth with the Fawn, and he's putting as much emotion into, like, as much expression into it as possible. Every cock of the head and glance and frown, and trying to work in animations so that you can get as many like micro expressions, or even like when they did Abe Sapien in Hellboy, one of the things is that they had to do digital blinks because they couldn't make his makeup like blink on set, so they had to do it in post-production. But you don't really think about it because it looks very good. And it's like, it's about the micro expressions. That's what we attach to. It's like we attach to every little expression. I learned that the facial capture for Beast was done separately from the stuff that was on set, so that they could try and get as much of the facial performance as possible, and kind of zero in on it after the fact. But I think truly facial capture was a mistake on this movie. On top of a million other mistakes, because now you're like, when they did Beast in X-Men First Class, they animated on top of the prosthetic makeup, using the prosthetic makeup as reference for lighting and shadows, like shadow play on the face, and then they could make the visual effects, like they could animate that more while still having the real reference. It's like Where the Wild Things Are. Like they did something similar where they have them in the costumes, and then animate the faces on top of those costumes. So they know what the face is supposed to look like in the space, but they're able to animate that. And the fact that they did that, they hand keyed that. They didn't facial capture it. Facial capturing it means you are bound generally to the limitations of what the human face can do, which means that no matter how readable the expression is, you're still going to have to readjust and retarget the facial design so that it's a little closer to what the actor is doing. So the Beast looks a little too much like Dan Stevens. He doesn't look beastly enough. He just kind of looks a little like a guy. And if they went the path of just makeup, just makeup, then I would be more lenient to that. But I'm not, because... Mm-hmm. But it you are beholden to what the limitations of the face are, and so you can't really do much more. Like you're kind of hamstrung. Like I remember the animators at Naughty Dog used to be very against facial capture because they felt like they had more latitude with keyframing the facial animation and mocapping the body. I think they probably should have taken a similar approach to this if they wanted it to look any good, to be honest, or if they wanted to make him more beastly.
Yeah.
Like, I think they should have hand keyed his facial expressions, and I think they should have, taken advantage of that to make the Beast feel more beastly. And as for his behaviors, he's a dick again. It's not as bad as
no, it's not nearly as bad as the direct-to-DVD.
He's not like evil, but his childishness, things like him showing the like when he shows the library to Belle in the 91 movie, it's coming out of such a place of kindness, genuinely. Like he's like, well, I think you'd like this,
Mm-hmm.
And then here he's just a flippant dick about it. I'm like, come on, why you gotta? The point of the story is having him soften up. Why is he not softening up? I'm just... What are we doing? What are we... It feels firmly like, everything about... I think if you're making Beauty and the Beast, for me, it doesn't have to be this way, but for me personally, when I see a Beauty and the Beast adaptation, I do want to think at the end, if he's no longer a beast, I want to think, where's my beautiful beast,
Yeah. I mean, you talked about the physicality of the Beast. I was really struck by how I just did not like Dan Stevens' performance as the Beast. I have no idea what he's going for in, the vocal tone. It doesn't sound beastly.
Yeah, no.
It just kind of sounds like...
He sounds too posh.
Yeah, he has something in his throat.
We said that he sounded like Matt Berry.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'm standing by that. He just sounds like Matt Berry, and I want to note that if anyone out there is considering making Beauty and the Beast with Matt Berry, please do it. Just please. There's no time like the present. I will watch it. If it's ass, I don't care. It can't be more ass than this. Man, his physicality is so nil, too. Like, it's not anything. He's just kind of walking around. He's like, come on. Do something.
Yeah. You want to talk about the performances a bit? Now that we're on the topic.
I mentioned that I do like Klein. Watson is there, I guess.
I don't think
there.
She's good in this.
No.
I don't know if she's a good actress. Period. I'm sorry. I don't know.
when you look at her relationship to all this compared to the other two that were in the fucking wizard things, it does kind of seem like she's a little less interested in acting than the others because, you know, she does, like, sort of her philanthropy stuff and whatnot, that's fair. But, like, it's more on, I don't, like...
So you're saying they should have got Daniel Radcliffe to play Beauty?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nikki, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd go fucking feral over Beauty and the Beast starring Daniel Radcliffe and Dan Stevens doing a good performance, because I don't blame him for that. I think they just didn't give him anything. If someone gave me the Daniel Radcliffe, Dan Stevens Yowie, I'd explode. I'd fucking lose my goddamn mind, okay? You gotta understand me.
Could have been Disney's first gay character.
But real.
Not but counting Timon and Pumbaa.
Those two... Those are my guys. Those are my guys.
Sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up. Now I'm thinking about a good movie.
Okay, but now I'm
bad movie.
Okay, alright. Other than that, relating performances, Evans is fine. When Gad isn't shooting for, like, really broad comedic beats, I don't hate him. It's just that those comedic beats are some of the worst shit I've ever seen.
I think just part of the, you know, the beats and just his performances, he just feels out of place. Like he's from
This is true.
Movie.
This is very true. He very much does, you know, and I know his name literally means the fool. I know. That doesn't change the tonal discrepancy.
Yeah. I will say, maybe the worst moment in the entire movie, or in any of the movies that we've seen so far, is in, you know, the Gaston song, where he tries to spell out Gaston's name, and then he messes it up, and he's like, I'm just realizing that I don't know how to spell Gaston because I'm illiterate, and I don't know how to spell it, and it's... Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
It's the worst bit in all these so far.
I didn't know how awkward it is. It just sucks all the air out of the room. It sucks
all the air, all the momentum out of a number that is so goddamn funny.
Well,
you don't need to add comedy.
It isn't funny in this movie, but, you know.
That's what kills me. It's just like, the number was already funny. It was already funny.
No, we gotta extend it for more Quirk Chungus. I will say the numbers in this is kind of a hard thing to articulate, but they feel much more abrupt. Like, it's like, oh, we're gonna do a number now, instead of the original where it felt like there was more smooth transitions, but I can't really articulate.
I think why. I think it's the truism of, you know, when you can't speak your emotions, you sing them, and when you can't sing them, you dance.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that is very, very true of the things that Ashman did, and it's very true of Beauty and the Beast. You know, when she breaks out into that last refrain in Provincial Life, you know, when she, you know, she's just like, she genuinely, like, you know, I know it's the I Want song, and I know that, you know, when she sings it, you know it's coming from this place of, I need to get it out. I need to go out there, and I need to shout it out to the hills, and I don't care if anyone hears me, except to help me find my way through this. And here, that sense of emotionality is non-present. It's not a thing.
You're right.
It's really not
I think you're completely right. You know, in the original, it's like, you know, there's a heightened emotion that the song naturally springboards out, and here it's just, well, it's the original had a song in this scene, so I guess we have to have one too.
I guess we're making songs now. it's you know, every time a song happens in the original movie, I never feel it's anything less than warranted or justified on an emotional level. You know, it's firmly coming from a place of, you know, how do I best express the feeling of this moment? You know, and like, you know, and you don't do it unless it's motivated, you know, especially for like this type of movie. And then here's this movie doing it unmotivated basically permanently. You just kind of fell into it. You fell in the pit.
I don't have a natural transition for this. I just have to talk about it.
Yes, go.
The terms of the Enchantress's curse have changed. So in the
Yes,
original,
go on.
it's very simple. The beast and the staff get transformed, and they cannot transform back unless the beast finds true love before all the rose the rose withers completely. If it does, then they'll be
Yes.
stuck like that forever. They say specifically they'll be stuck like that forever.
Yes.
This changes it. It adds two things. First of all, over time as the rose withers, the castle like falls apart. I mean, it already got like evil gargoyles in the original from the Enchantress, but here it's like literally like the ceiling's falling down. And the more frustrating thing is when the rose withers completely, the staff will be turned into inanimate objects completely, as in they will no longer be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's fucking weird? Like we talked earlier about how they made the prince less likable in the prologue so that the enchantress's spells seemed more justified. But then they added this, so it seems like way overboard. It's completely
Fucking
like the
subject
worst
to
punishment
it.
goes to the. It's a worse punishment for the staff than the beast. You know, even though they didn't do anything.
She's just subjected them to inanimate object dementia.
It's murder, basically. You know,
It's
there's
murder.
no like,
It's
indication
murder.
of that.
They just stop existing, and it's like, look, I can see this working in a version of the story, but it does nothing for this version of the story. It doesn't do anything. It
Yeah,
just
one, it's
adds
just
unnecessary stakes.
plot clutter. Two, the stakes were fine in the original. And three, it makes the staff look more selfish. Because, you know, we talked about how in the original they truly care about the beast. And that is their motivation. That is why they want him to get with Belle. One, so obviously they want to turn back into humans, but also they want him to be happy. Here,
They
for
care
them, it
about
is
him.
literally life and death. So they have to look out for themselves more than they're looking out for the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, there is one good performance in this movie, and it's from the actor I've never seen a bad performance from, Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
He can act. He's an actual. I won't say he's an actual voice actor because that isn't his focus, but he can voice act. He's a talented.
He is quite good at it. Yes.
You know, the couple times I've seen him do it, Pinocchio, Robots.
Pinocchio. Yes.
He goes all the way in on it. He's a good voice actor. He's good. He's a good voice
very,
actor in this.
Very strong at emoting. I think that's the thing. He's just a very emotive actor, and it translates. Yes. The thing about Be Our Guest is that Be Our Guest is such a basically untouchable song that it's borderline impossible to ruin it.
Yeah.
You need to fuck up in ways that don't exist almost to really ruin it. I'm not saying, you know, because like, yes, this sequence was done better. We know this, but you know, it's not half bad relative to the catastrophe that is the rest of the movie. He's very fun, and I considered this. I said to you that it kind of felt like a rough draft for stuff he did as Sebastian J. Cricket in Pinocchio, in Del Toro's
You,
Pinocchio.
you know why he's the best performance? It isn't any of that. It's because he's the only one doing a funny accent.
It's so real, though.
He's
Where
the
are the funny
only one. He
accents?
does a funny French accent, and it's cute, and I like it.
He's just fun. He's just fun. And I think that's the thing. Look, you want to know something that's great about the 1991 movie? It's fucking joyous. I think that's kind of important for me at this point when I'm watching a crowd pleaser. You know, I prefer it when these movies are joyous, like crowd pleasers in general, at least to some capacity, joyous or very emotive, you know. And, you know, this movie just almost has none of that, and it's so tiring already because of that. Like, it makes me feel it's a slog because of that. And so you have what McGregor's doing, and he's genuinely just kind of trying to shore up a little excitement, a little joie de vivre.
Mhm.
And you
That guy
know,
never
it's like
phones it in, you know.
he just doesn't do
Fucking-
it. He doesn't do
he
it. He's
made
great.
George Lucas dialogue look good.
How do you even? No one ever had any issue in those movies. Even people who fucking hate those movies are like, no, he's good. You can stay.
Fucking I have the high ground, Anakin is such a stupid fucking line. Why did he say that? But out of
I don't know.
McGregor, I'm like, oh my god, he does have the high ground.
It's like
Holy
you see
shit.
that scene and you're like, wow, this guy can fucking act, because he just sells every part of that, and it feels like watching a man's heart get ripped out with the most wooden dialogue on earth. You know, he's by far the guy in the movie in terms of performances. Yeah, it's him. Out of everybody, it's him. I have difficulty saying much about the performances because a lot of them are just very bland to me.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the voice actors just feel, I mean, a lot of the actors doing voice work in it outside of McGregor and was it it was Gugu Mbatha Raw who played the feather duster, whose name is different again for some reason. I don't know why they keep changing it.
But yeah, like Emma Thompson, fucking Ian McKellen.
They have a murderer's row.
Stanley Tucci. These guys are just getting a paycheck, you know.
These guys are getting a paycheck, and I had it like, it's like, I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the rest of this garbage.
If I got that fucking paycheck that, you know, Ian McKellen got for this, hell, I'd fucking take it too. You know.
No, yeah. It's like no, it's just the premise of this thing's existence that is killing me.
More things about how the songs suck. You know, I don't care about Belle's mom. Here's a fun fact. You know who else I don't give a fuck about? The Beast's parents. You don't need a sad backstory that, you know, his parents were his mom died and his dad was mean to him, and that's why he was a brat. It's like I don't care. It's you're Han Soloing it. You're giving an explanation to something that was just a given, you know?
It's dreadful.
This discussion has become very unstructured.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's just because we've been bursting at the seams for a while now, and now it's happening. We're just losing it. We're letting it all out. You know what this episode is? This episode is therapy.
Yeah. It's
very unstructured.
You know what? One of my favorite moments in one of my favorite TV shows, BoJack Horseman.
Mm-hmm.
In the last season, Diane is trying to write her memoirs and essays, and she just can't get anything out. It's not that she doesn't have the words to describe her trauma or say how it meant her feel. She just can't find a way to make it, you know, interesting. And, you know, she just has to, like, let it all. And she's like, so, like, was it not good trauma? I didn't get anything out of it. It's like, first of all, like, the point of that's like, oh, there is no such thing as good trauma or bad trauma. You need to let yourself move on. But out of that,
Hmm.
I was traumatized by Beauty and the Beast 2017. And I need to get something out of that experience, like how I needed to get something out of the Super Nintendo game.
We need to get back on the rails.
I'm coming up to the end of my notes. Thank God.
Okay. Oh yeah, costume design, because there's the famous dance scene, which is much beloved and the most famous shot of Beauty and the Beast. Now, I want you to take that beautiful, beautiful dress, the most beautiful dress you ever imagined in your whole life, and imagine if they made it out of ravioli.
Oh my God! As soon as you said like it looked like ravioli, it just ruined the fucking scene for me. I wouldn't have thought of it on my own. And then you said, like, "Oh my God, it does look like ravioli."
Looks like fucking ravioli. What did you do? What did you do? Everybody hated that. Like, all the people who were criticizing it when the movie came out on YouTube, everybody fucking hated what they did to the dress. I don't know. You know what this movie feels like? It feels like it was made on a really quick turnaround. Just all parts of it, because I don't doubt that everyone involved is a professional, but it feels like they just didn't have any fucking time. Which is funny because the movie cost how much? Fucking almost like what was like $2.5 million, 200, like $200.5 million or something like that.
It looks like it cost $2.5 million, but yeah, I think it is somewhere around 250 million.
It feels like they had no time. It really does, and I'm so exhausted. I know that scene, the dance scene in the movie, that's the kind of shit that makes animators. Like the kind of shit that you see it and you think, I want to be an animator.
Yeah.
Like the way there are performances that make you think, I want to be an actor. And to see it done this way with such a lack of clarity, I think part of it, right, is just kind of, in animation, you don't really have to worry about sort of depth of field and exposure the way you do in live action. So every shot can be as deep as you can muster as an animator. That doesn't mean it has to be. It doesn't mean, because you still have to work for it, but you're working under different parameters. That's why I say, like, there are people who say in animation you can do anything. It's just like, no, you can't do anything. Just that your parameters for what is possible are different from live action. When you look at that dance scene, it's like, it feels like the world is infinite, Like, you see them dancing. You can see into, like, the far corners of a ballroom that is larger than it feels feasibly possible. And, you see the dancing, you see the parallax because of the wide lens on the 3D animation.
Yeah.
You can really feel the movement. It's the kind of thing that makes you, as a viewer, lurch forward and really take in the sight that you're seeing. And then in the fucking live action remake, it's a lot dimmer, and there's all these little lights that are just a lot of visual cruft, and like this just clutter. And you can't really take in the movement very much because now it's on a much longer lens in relation to, like, 3-dimensional space, and it just doesn't feel like anything anymore. And suddenly something that felt so sweeping and romantic just feels very... There's a term for this movie, I would say, that like my friend Devin referred to Wicked's visual direction, like, not anything about the actors or anything, just the visual direction. He referred to it as basic visual stenography. It's just a recounting and nothing more. And that's how this sort of feels. Like, you're just recounting the thing that happened before, and it feels like a fucked up game of telephone where you heard all of these things, but you didn't get any of the details, and so you just kind of becomes this mushy morass in the swamp. It's what they did to that scene is a fucking crime.
This whole movie's a fucking crime. For some reason,
the whole movie's a crime.
The title track is diegetic. Why the fuck do they do
Yes,
that?
yes. I don't know, and it's not like how many of the numbers are diegetic?
I think only like
There's that
2.
one. It's that one and Gaston.
Yeah, and maybe
And it's like,
something there that wasn't there before. I think is diegetic.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
are both Emma Thompson doing that in the title track, and I'm sorry, she can't fucking carry it. She doesn't have the voice for it.
I don't get it. I think that's a lot of how I feel lately. Is just a big I don't get it. I don't get how these are so big. What else is left on your notes?
Okay, I got one random observation that is probably a nitpick, but is still bothering me. In that there's a scene where they eat soup, and the beast slurps it out of the soup bowl like a dog, and that really bothered me. Because he's not supposed to act beastly. Like, that's the whole point. He's not a beast on the inside. He just looks like a beast. And even if he's
Yeah,
grown up to be kind of, a harsh, cruel
beastly.
man, he's not an
Oh,
animal, you know?
he's not an animal, no. Even
He's just a
this is
bit
a
of a
thing that's
jerk.
pretty foregrounded in Cocteau's movie. Just kind of like straddling a difficult line, but in the end, he's still a man.
Yeah, if you wanted to make him more beastly, I wouldn't even oppose that, but that's just not what the movie is.
Yeah, no. And then and part of it again is just again, it doesn't do anything new or different, and so how can you feasibly do any it's difficult to criticize it on its own terms when it doesn't have its own terms. You do a really bad impression of a great movie, and then now I can't judge it as its own thing because it's not its own thing, because it's so beholden to the intertextual nostalgia between this work and the last work. They're movies about those movies, but also they're not about anything at all because they don't have their own thoughts other than what was already kind of installed in the prior version of the movie. So how do you talk about it as its own thing? You kind of can't. And so when it concerns Beast being more beastly, it's like, yeah, I like the idea of Beast being more beastly, but also you haven't done enough. Like, you're only drawing more attention to the fact that the changes you've made are superfluous. I don't really get. I don't like his characterization in this thing.
It's bad. You know what?
It's bad. Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything huge to say, so I'm just gonna rapid fire a couple of these.
Yes, go.
Dan Stevens can't sing either. The
No.
action in the climax is incredibly lifeless. There is no weight at all to Gaston's death, like there was in the original. They totally fucked up the Lumiere Cogsworth dynamic in that now it
Oh,
feels
it's
like they
terrible.
have no dynamic. Why is the Enchantress a character? I just wrote "I love you, Ian McGregor" again. Um, why is Mr. Potts a character? That's superfluous. And the title track is diegetic again in the very end. A lot of shit that just
Yeah.
me asking like, why is this in the movie? Why do we have time to fucking make the Enchantress, this her own fucking character that needs to come back like 3 times, but we don't have time to do Lumiere and Cogsworth being like buds? Why is this movie fucking 130 minutes when the original was fucking, let's see this, 84? That's so much shit added. That's so much added. It does nothing.
And it does
It
nothing.
only makes the movie worse. You have anything else to fucking say about this goddamn piece of mouse diarrhea filtered through a fucking squid's nostril?
Put it this way, because this episode is our most unorganized because of our disdain. Like, this is like, I think that's kind of the thing. We've been very unorganized because of the disdain we have for it. Because the other movies, even if we didn't like them, we didn't hate them.
This is the first one.
I have hate
this
for
is the
this
first one
movie,
where
and
I'm
I
like,
know that
I
you do
fucking
too.
hate this movie. Like the worst one before this that we've seen, including the direct-to-video, was Alice Through the Looking Glass. Probably well, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably, but even that movie, I didn't hate that movie. I'm just like, this movie is not good.
Also looking... I don't even hate Pete's Dragon.
Yeah.
It's just boring as fuck. In the time, like I said, in the time since... And, like, this will be something that I reiterate when we do Lion King. This is a time... And I don't know if it'll be this way by the time we get to Lion King. It's a time of it's very harrowing for everyone as a result of the incredibly violent, union busting, labor stealing machine that is generative AI. It's the thing that Bob Iger wants to put a lot of money into. It's the thing that he seems to believe in a lot because, well, for probably similar reasons that Walt Disney was a union-busting bastard. You know, these people would do anything at all to have a product without the need or necessity of labor. Of laborers who put their time and effort into what they do, and often love, you know. And this is the beginning of really dire times that honestly, in my mind, immediately precipice generative AI being the thing that it is. Because it's a lot of people, and they're like, oh, what if that cartoon you liked when you were a kid was real? And that's the kind of things that these people would type in as a prompt into fucking Midjourney or whatever the hell. They would do that because they want their thing and they want it now. They want to insert a prompt and get their output. It's not a matter of art. These people will take everything that you've ever created and they will destroy it. In one way or another, they will destroy its soul. It's like a wretched simulacrum. It's like that thing where, that thing about teleportation, where, is the you that exits the teleporter the same one that went in? It's kind of like that. It's like The Fly. I do really, I want to make it clear how much I believe in cinema. And how much I believe in art. It's more important than ever for me. Not in a art is going to change the world sense, but in the sense that you personally, it's very essential that you maintain contact with whatever constitutes your soul. And if not your soul, then just whatever you are, your identity, your means of expression, your raison d'etre, just your reason for being at all. I can't tell anyone that they're here for a specific purpose, but you can define that fucking purpose. And you don't have to cede to just, this is slop. This is slop. And it's probably one of the earlier examples of what I would call slop in the present contemporary sense, because it's just the absolute regurgitation of incredibly vital, ideas and concepts, the creative process is really frustrating really often, but it can also be very invigorating. And what it isn't is regurgitating all of these ideas into just this gruel, this nothing, this fucking watery paste. It's like the episode of SpongeBob with the, you know, when the Krusty Krab gets sold and the people that buy it out, they don't cook their patties anymore. They just paint up some gray slop to look like a Krabby Patty. You know, it is a matter of you just have some fucking pride in your work, you know? But that's the thing, it's not their work to have any pride in. It's the laborers' work, and they're trying to squeeze them for every penny just before they kick them out the fucking door using generative AI, because everyone is under the delusion that that's a workflow that is sustainable and won't immediately just kill the planet. Or maybe they do know that and don't care. I don't know. I don't know the specifics about how these people think, because I never want to think like these people. I never want to think like Bob Iger. I never want to think like David Zaslav. You know? And I'm not saying that this type of person is new. This person is old. You know, the fucking carry-on patrons who steal from you and leave you with nothing while they reap the benefits of your work. Howard Ashman gave a lot. Glenn Keane gave a lot. All of these artists, everyone, they gave a lot in service of, even if it wasn't something they believed in, it was some work. It was an honest day's fucking work. They were the laborers and they were the creatives, and they put their fucking muscle into it as best as they could. And they came out with a movie that is a fucking incredible work. You know, so, you know, it's what Dana Terrace said, creator of the Owl House, recently. She said, pick up a pencil or die, you know? It really feels like so much is at stake. And as we move further into these movies, it's going to continue to feel that way, because these do feel like the precipice for just absolute slop. Just the absolute slop that Disney wants to shovel down your fucking gullet. You know, it's disgusting to me. And I'm glad to be free of this fucking movie, because it's so bad. And it's so embarrassing. And the end credits are so silly.
The end credits are very silly. It's like the end of Avengers Endgame, where all the actors turn towards
all the actors pose,
and it looks like none of them know what this like filming session is going to be used for.
It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like they took the costume tests,
yeah,
and just pasted those in.
Lamb shots.
Yes. It's so stupid, and you know, I don't know what we're here for. I don't know what or why are we still here, just to suffer?
Yep. I could speak,
and this isn't even the worst of it, but yes,
speak for a moment.
Yes,
Beauty and
please
the Beast, 2017. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I don't say that lightly. We've known each other.
We don't say things like that lightly
for a long time. It's hard. I can't, relate this to the audience, but I know you know me well enough to know I've seen some dog shit. I've seen movies that offend me, upset me, insult me. And this is still,
we've seen a few of them together,
down there as one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I could understand why someone would see me say that and think that's a little extreme. I'm sympathetic to someone who might say that to me, but it's so soulless. It's so empty. It feels like it sucks something out of you. It feels like not just a waste of time, but a waste of your energy. That the original Beauty and the Beast, the 1991 Disney film, and a lot of the Disney Renaissance is, I think, one of the great triumphs of studio filmmaking, Hollywood American studio filmmaking. Many great artists were given the opportunity to come together on one project and given the resources to make something beautiful. And I think they succeeded. I think, as I have said multiple times so far, I think it is one of the rare, perfect movies. There is nothing about it I would change. There's a reason why it has endured so long. The reason it'll endure as long as the Disney classics from, the 40s, longer than that, you know, it's because it connects something really true about love and personhood. And this
Mm-hmm.
is the culmination of the failures of American studio filmmaking. It is a
Mm-hmm.
mandate, a film made by mandate because they bet that audiences would eat it up, regardless of quality, but just because of what it was attached to. That used to mean being attached to a star. Now it means being attached to an intellectual property. And the
Yes.
unfortunate thing is people did eat it up. People did go see it, and maybe it's I try not to go with the position of people are just fucking stupid, but some people are really fucking stupid, and there had been
Yeah.
so much distance since the original. There had been so much fall in studio movies that they enjoyed it and they wanted to come back for more next year, and it is a bit, it does disgust me a little bit, and
Yeah. Like,
it's just
just.
it's a
Mm,
wretch. It's
yeah. We. I. Going back all the way to what I said about Jean Cocteau's film, that, children believe what we tell them, and asking of a little childlike sympathy. It is a work that denies every childlike sympathy you could possibly offer it. It does not, you know, it does not invite you to imagine anything other than the past.
that's it's the opposite of what a good children's film should be, because this is what it is, a children's film. And that's, I think I've mentioned this
It
before on the
is.
podcast. A lot of people misinterpret the success of the live action remakes as just, oh wow, millennial nostalgia. But a lot of, if not most of those ticket sales are going towards children who want to go see the new Disney
Yeah.
movie, and their parents who say, well, I remember that being good when I was a kid, sure, I'll take him. And
Yeah.
those kids deserve better because they're not being invited to imagine something special. They're not being invited to feel something new, you know? Bill Condon,
I think about. Mhm.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I think about. I don't know. I think about great family movies that have bombed. I think about Hugo a lot. Because that is a movie that is very much like it's for families, and it invites you to, you know, it's if you know me on Discord, you can see my current status is quote reading "Come and Dream with Me," and I pulled that from Hugo, and it's a movie about learning, learning about a past that you didn't even know existed, learning about something new that existed just outside of your horizon. It is a movie about creating and loving to create, and how creation can sometimes betray you, but ultimately you put your heart and soul into that and you'll get something out of it. And maybe it's success, maybe it's not, maybe you'll gain everything and lose everything for it, but you still created something and it exists now. It's a great film that I highly recommend. And
Even if your art
I
won't
just
change the world, chase it anyways. Fucking try. Make something real.
make something real. I I think that's really it. Just make something real and make something that I don't know, like this movie denies every single last opportunity for you to dream of something new. You know, it refutes, it sets out to fix problems that were never problems to begin with from the text.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many examples of that, and it drives me crazy because, you know, you're trying to get ahead of the story, you're trying to achieve victory over the story, and you're not letting it in and you're not entering it. And in my mind, any works that try to get ahead of the problems that people will perceive out of it, it's like, I think you've chosen cowardice. I think you've chosen... Come on, baby. This cat's acting up. We're almost done. No, baby.
The cat hates Beauty and the Beast, by the way. It tried to stop the movie.
Cat hates... Yes, the cat... Yes. We were watching the movie, and tried to stop it several times.
This was the remake.
He sat on the keyboard directly.
It wouldn't have done it for the original.
Yes, the remake. Not. He wouldn't. I mean, he wasn't here yet, but I don't think he would have. Any work that is trying to get ahead of the problems, I guess, you know, or like the criticisms that people will have of it, I think they're choosing cowardice to some degree. And I understand having insecurity, but this isn't insecurity. This is exacting. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do. Any ideas that were probably had during the pre-production and production of this movie were probably firmly quashed by higher ups.
Shave it off for the lowest common denominator.
Just whatever you do, I don't care what it is. You know, like, I think about, I'm going to paraphrase Steven Soderbergh's Academy Award acceptance speech when he won Best Director in 2001. He said something like, whatever, take some time to create whatever it is you create, you know, whether it's a painting or a song or a book or a movie or anything that you created yourself, a sculpture, anything. Thank you for creating it, you know, because, you know, and like, that's what I believe, you know. I want to practice gratitude, and that is what I wish to evince in talking about the original Beauty and the Beast movie. I know we didn't have Ashman very long, and he had more to offer, but I'm still grateful for his contributions. I'm still grateful for all of the contributions of everybody who worked on that movie. I'm grateful for anyone who made anything that I've ever liked. Unless they are actually evil, but that's beside the point. But you know, I'm grateful that people took their time to express something, because that's what all of us are trying to do very hard. Even if you're not an artist, even if you're, you know, like, we're still trying to express something. We're still providing what we can. We're still trying, like, most of us, I like to think, are trying to provide something real. And right now, when I wake up and I look at what's going on my phone, I see a world that threatens to, I guess, maintain an atmosphere of complete artificiality and just like an artificial grotesquerie that is born not of human hand but by algorithm. These movies feel made by algorithm, the worse that they get. This movie feels like it was made by algorithm. So whatever it is you do, and this is the last thing I'll say, please just try and make it real. Even if it's just the expression of loving someone, whether it's that or a book you write or, you know, some kind of labor that you put your heart and soul into. Just try, like, you know, at the risk of sounding corny, just try and keep it fucking real. Because that's all any of us can do, and that's what a lot of people want to take away from us. And this movie, for me, represents the precipice of us being pulled into an abyss of complete and utter soulless artificiality. That's what I have to say about that.
I think we've said about all we can say.
Yes. The ranking.
What the fuck do you
before
think
we go.
the ranking is? Jesus. Okay. Here, I'll
everything
get it out
I figure
so quickly. The Beauty and the Beast movies release order, best to worst. Where it goes in the live action remake ranking, dead last.
Yeah, I think everything is where it is except Beauty and the Beast is like, you know, yeah, no, I think I feel the same.
I was tempted to put the remake above Belle's Magical World, but
no, that still represents something more than this.
it's a great evil.
Even if it represents a great that doesn't represent a great evil. They just wanted to make a TV show out of a popular movie.
2017.
This is a great evil.
That's when Twin Peaks: The Return aired, and Lynch talked about the origin point of great evil in American society possibly being the atomic bomb. But if he went to the theater, he would have known an even greater evil was being born at the same time.
That honestly might be the perfect note to go out on.
Alright.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on the ranking. But yes. If this episode it's probably gonna get split up, right?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know where it would be split up, but for those who have listened, thank you for listening once again. I've been Roxana.
I've been Nikki, and I'll see you next time.
And see you next time. Goodbye.